Namaste and welcome to this exciting new episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sat means truth, logos means a study or science, Sattology means a science of truth, study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology. Myth means is a Sanskrit word which means fake lie imagination. Mythology means a study or science of fake lie imagination. And in this bitter truth series, which has been the name was given by Shashi Maskatananda Swami Maharaj, and the moon face is a banned word, but anyway, and so it's given by him and a very, very special guest and a good friend, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Let us welcome him.
Oh,
Abhijit, what is this new avatar? What was the deep significance of this new name and new avatar?
nothing. It's just the fact that everybody assumes that every Indian holy man saying Om and wearing saffron is somehow profound, even if they fart bullshit. So I decided, because I keep farting bullshit, I'm just going to pretend I'm bloody profound.
One of the things which is going on the recently right now is anti-Hindu conferences all over the country in the US, and everybody is participating in a big way. And so what do you think of that? What is going on exactly?
Look, this has been coming for a very long time. If you don't get on the right side of the CRT intersectionality woke bandwagon, you were going to be the class enemy or whatever. So Hinduism is the equivalent of, I know, white patriarchy. Yeah, it's that simple. So, all those Aryan invasion fantasies that a lot of Indians had, that, we're not actually Indian. We're actually blonde, blue hair, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Germans who invaded India 3,500 years back to civilize the brown native savages. It's coming home to roost. Enjoy.
So one of the things is, do you think that the US politicians, they really know what is happening to them right now with all the critical race theory and everything? I don't think so. Anything, they don't even know what is happening to them.
No, this is a very well-established mode of a leftist takeover of a state. We've seen it all over. We've seen it in the old USSR. We saw it in so many places. It was best illustrated in 1984 by George Orwell. This has been the classic, mode of an intellectual, ideological, and institutional takeover for a very long time. You come up with a theory which is not based in facts, where the assumptions are just don't hold up to academic rigor. You then dispute the academic rigor, saying academic rigor itself is racist. Like mathematics now is racist, physics is now racist. Apparently, saying 2 + 2 = 4 is racist, right? You come up, you demolish the basis of all assumptions. The one of the basis of modern science is ceteris paribus, ceteris paribus as it's called, and what that is that all other things remaining equal. Here, what they do is they remove all the other things remaining equal, and so what it does is it introduces a reign of terror, and this suits people very well, because they can use it to justify anything and everything they do, because everything is now up in the air. And technology companies support this, because if you remember, in our own lifetime, we saw Nokia becoming the king of mobile phones in the 90s. And by 2010, Nokia was effectively finished. Right? It lasted 20 years. It was a glorious 20 years, but you saw that huge, spectacular rise and spectacular fall of Nokia. It's the same thing that's been happening with tech companies wanting to prevent their monopolies. They want to slow down innovation. Now, innovation grows when you don't have new witch hunts, new Spanish Inquisitions, new whatever mind control mechanisms, Stalinist purges or what have you. They're reintroducing all of this to slow down innovation in order to self-perpetuate, to see to it that new disruptors don't take them on, don't unseat them, etc., etc., etc. So it's a very well-known practice of status quoists, introducing a reign of terror in order to prevent being replaced. This is what the Bolshevik Revolution did. This is what the Nazis did. This is what Mussolini did. This is what Franco did. So it doesn't matter if it's left or right or socialist or whatever. Any tyrannical status quo that emerges, that seeks self-preservation, right? They do this. The French Revolution did it. The Robespierre and Robespierre's entire reign of terror was exactly about this kind of thing. Right. We don't send people off to guillotines and things like that. It's different today. It's done on Twitter or WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever. But that's the essence of it.
So do you think that you mentioned the word conquistadors, and my next book is coming. I'm self-promoting right now. Please forgive me. It's a curse on the natives. Now, do you think the old colonial the colonial which they lost in freedom struggles is coming back now?
No, this isn't colonialism. This isn't colonialism. This is it's two different processes. One is feudalization, where the state is losing control to powerful barons. What were barons once upon a time are business houses today. All right. And remember, isn't it curious that the Magna Carta, which actually destroyed the rights of the common citizenry of Britain and skewed the balance in favor of these tyrants for the next few hundred years, is celebrated as the founding charter of freedom in England. Though advanced study shows us it was the exact opposite. So what you're seeing on one hand is feudalism, and on the other hand is your disruption of it's a self-perpetuating tyranny, doing all of this to prevent replacement, to prevent innovation.
You're absolutely right, because the whole thing is about money in any case. And I was seeing a report that how American Inc. benefited most from all the wars. So all the political objectives were done to just promote the wealth creation for a few. Do you think that was the main reason for all these things also coming back?
It ended up being the main reason. Because remember, most of the money that America spent on Afghanistan came back to America. What can you show me today in Afghanistan that is worth $3 trillion cumulatively? It was all spent. I remember, like a lot of my friends, they went to Afghanistan on extreme danger pay. They used to get outrageous sums of money. And we all used to get together because because it's a danger post. Once a month, they'd get to go out somewhere. They'd get flown on company expense to Istanbul or wherever they wanted to go. And we all used to meet up there, and we used to have a roaring good laugh on how much they were all getting paid essentially to bullshit the government with things that they knew would never work. So everybody who was in it knew it was complete bullshit. The problem was nobody wanted to talk about it. Remind me again how many conferences and how many hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars got spent on think tank conferences on the future of Afghanistan, on business class tickets, on first class tickets, on hotel rooms and fine foods and swanky dinners and security conferences and whatnot, codswallop, right? A lot. So it was, in a sense, a self-perpetuation, which is, it's a pity nobody actually saw through it right from the beginning.
No, it's a American public feels cheated, but most of the media keeps Americans uninformed, and American media. So do you think the American media works with the academics who are very leftist out there, and there is no other narrative? I have never seen American media. I know American media was always biased, but in last 6 years, I have totally lost trust of all American media. So what is this? This looks like some kind of they're hand in hand together with the left academics.
Not just the left, there's significant portions of the right as well that are included in this entire cabal. But look, it's ultimately, you can only push people so far before the entire thing explodes. Look, at his peak, nobody thought McCarthy could be unsettled or toppled. And yet, ultimately, in some time, he was. This is like McCarthy. This is essentially a McCarthyist witch hunt. Let's be clear about it. What's happening in America today, where you're forced to teach kids certain things, certain dogmas, which aren't actually based on science. This notion that a biological gender, I forget now. I mean, I don't get into this phony codswallop. Like, I'm a gay guy, and it's not that I haven't cross-dressed on occasions. I have. I've put on makeup on occasions and shit like that. But then, I never pretended my dick was a vag. So, there is such a thing called biological gender. There's a very, very small percentage who don't conform to it. And they shouldn't conform. They should be comfortable. But the way we're seeing things go today is just ridiculous. So let it go. Let it go. Let the entire craziness play out. You'll either get buyer's regret, or you'll get a victory of this kind of ideology, in which case there's nothing left to fight for anymore. Either way, America gets what America deserves ultimately. If people fight and manage to get rid of this nonsense, America deserves that. Good on America. If this, whatever it is, this madness wins over America, congratulations to you. You deserve it. Karma is a bitch.
That was the title of one of my books.
Or in this case, karma is a transgender, non-normative, gender fluid bitch X.
So on a funny note, you love Angela Merkel. You love Biden.
I don't love Angela Merkel. She's decent.
Okay. And she is become the new cultural symbol of the left. Everybody is writing about her. Look at her, how she is. So left has become a tool for everyone should be accepted as a refugee. Everyone should be accepted. Everyone should be welcomed in. And in fact, the CBP of USA, most of the officers complain. If someone comes to the southern border and says asylum, they're asked to, there's no verification papers, nothing. They can straight away enter US. And they're provided a nice facility to live and all the money. And then they also get access to the courts. Now, so do you think this is the left's ploy to destroy the developing economies or developed economies, actually, mostly? India is not a signatory to that, by the way.
Look, I mean, I really can't comment on America because I really don't know what's happening on the immigration front, because everybody was focusing on immigration as long as Trump was around. But apparently things have gotten a lot worse, and none of these channels, MSNBC, CNN, want to talk about immigration anymore. They don't even want to show you images of what's happening in the South anymore. So I can't really say.
I made a video on that. I'll launch on Sattology. I made a video. I was there.
Now, I really don't know what's happening out there, but every country ultimately gets its comeuppance. All right. If you want free borders, free movement, free everything, congratulations to you. Angela learned her lesson. She's no longer willing to allow that kind of free movement anymore. Right? She's been quietly, very, very quietly, she and the Swedes, they've been reversing a lot of the moves that they did because they clearly realized that they got more than they bargained for. Right? So in Germany, at least you see that kind of self-corrective mechanism happening, which you don't see in other countries. In America, in Canada, we don't see. It seems to be an Anglophone disease. This isn't happening in Italy. In Sweden, it's kind of self-controlled and kind of tempered down. Same in Norway. In France, there's a whole movement against this now, and the French are very militant right from the government down that they don't want this bullshit anymore. In Spain, it's not happening. So this is a very, very Anglophone disease that we're seeing that's only happening in the English-speaking world. And isn't it curious? I think, the same way CRT is the USSR's revenge against America. America won the Cold War, but it turns out the USSR's ghost won the war overall by imposing CRT and crap like that on America, which is essentially a KGB-esque mind control, doctrination, dogmatism mechanism. All of this came on the basis of philosophies developed by French pedophiles like Derrida and Foucault. They were sick child molesters. Everybody knew they were child molesters, and they came up with this entire bullshit to whitewash their own pedophilia. So, you want to separate the ideology of a pedophile. Congratulations to you. Go ahead. It shows you how smart the French are. They're paying you back for, the Louisiana Purchase. They're paying you back for their defeat at Trafalgar and the Napoleonic Wars. They've essentially sent their junk over to America, where it's found, to the Anglophone, to Britain included, where it's found a new life. Yay!
Very well put. It's very lightly you mentioned, very simply, but you put it, it's like to the point. The think tanks, we've already spoken about it in detail. And it seems that there is, it's like a checkmate. There is no more discussions. Like people have accepted a defeat right now. It's no more words, no more, nothing discussion, including in the people who are supposed to be very commonsensical. They have no answer but to just obey, and everyone is getting into defeatist. Do you think the white guilt or the white supremacist is this the right, like this is how you control this narrative? What is going on?
So I've met a lot of white supremacists. I've met neo-Nazis in Germany and neo-fascists in Italy. I've met all these bizarro white supremacists in America. And you can talk them down if you just sit and treat them like human beings. You sit down over a cup of coffee, discuss things over. I found it went, they might have gone back saying, oh, look, yeah, fucking bald, ugly, brown faggot or whatever behind my back. But to my face, it ended very amicably. Are all of them like that? Of course not. They're going to be some serious psycho-violent schmucks like Timothy McVeigh and people like that who bombed that Oklahoma federal building and things like that. The point is, you don't heal by destroying. Everybody knows that healing is a constructive building process, not a destructive process. It takes a real idiot to think that a civil war is going to heal. And that is where they're taking America at the moment. Because there's no return from where all of this has gone. Now, if I've noticed this over and over again, if I want to have a good conversation with a leftist, you take a great coffee, a great cigar or cognac or whatever, what have you, sit down and talk things through honestly. No recriminations, no animosity, none of that. They don't want to do that. Everything is combat, everything is vitriol, everything is toxicity. Okay, do it.
Now, we're going to do a separate show on McCarthyism because that's a very important thing for people to learn. The point is, General Miley in Afghanistan in 5 days, just in 5 days, he said that there will be a civil war in Afghanistan in just 5 days. So were they not knowing beforehand?
Look, I don't take Miley seriously. He's a clown.
That's a good answer. So in the left, now coming to the Hindutva and the left, and there is a new word introduced in the California Democrat convention. A new word when you sign up is called caste, is included there. And that is also getting introduced in Republican Party manifesto also, the word caste. Now, word caste in America means something else. Like it also means European caste system. They also mean that the caste in the European, like there was the seminar by USD, University of San Diego, which deals a lot of these kind of issues. Is they said the upper caste Europeans considered Native Americans as lower caste, or even blacks as lower caste. They considered that. So this the word caste, but many of the Hindu groups, they assume that caste is for them. What do you like to say about that? Because this caste politics is a European problem, and casta, which is Spanish, always considered that the Spanish crown people connected to them were a higher caste than the indigenous people of South America.
So look, caste is a very, very complex phenomenon, right? Caste and class, caste and race, they've all been very different. But given the general propensity of Western academia today to confuse, conflate, what you call isomorphic mimicry, take the realities of one society and artificially try to impose it on another, you see a lot of that happening, right? So let it happen. I mean, it just reduces the caliber of their research. It corrodes their research. It corrupts their research. Let them do it. I don't see why we need to be defensive about it or even worry about it, because right now we have a government that's quite committed to the ending of caste through social engineering and things like that. Unfortunately, we won't see an end to caste in India till you have full industrialization and urbanization. So there, of course, the government has failed spectacularly because we have essentially our government are a bunch of saffron communists. So let's see how that goes. But it's gone to the extent where there's nothing more you can do to Hinduism anymore. Hum badnaam hue to aur kya badnaam karna? It's like shame amongst whores.
Strong words, but sometimes that's what you need to do. In the American university, there's one new word which has come up. It's called gender neutrality. So now you can always say that you're a man, woman, or you can say transgender. But there is a bigger controversy which is opposed by some and in America I can call it right wingers, that how can you can allow transgenders to compete in a women's sport?
This is one of the delicious ironies. So right now, I just wanted to let all our viewers know, I self-identify as the plastic casing on a copper wire. I self-identify as an inanimate object. And I feel attracted to the plastic casing on the back ends of scissors. So I am scissoroplastic sexual, and I am covero gender. Does that make sense to you?
A lot of people laughing here right now.
Well, I mean, if that made sense to you, you need to be locked up in a fucking lunatic asylum, dude. Like, dead serious. This is a mental disease. You need to be in a jail. I mean, you seriously need shock therapy to your genitals if that's what you think. I don't know if that's the latest recommended solution, but you need to be on serious medication if that's what you think you are. Right? So you have the mainstreaming, the normalization of serious psychological trauma, of serious psychological diseases as somehow being normal. Since when did obesity become normal? Is being plump beautiful? Yeah, I know a lot of people, like, I'm very plump. I'm obese. I'm like 105 kilos. And I have a lot of men who come and, want to sleep around with me and do funky things with me. Yay, great. But to claim that people who aren't into chubs are somehow bigots is just fucking ridiculous. But there's this whole thing and then to say it's healthy, it is not healthy. There is no part of the universe under which it constitutes healthy. Okay, it is a serious health risk. It is a public health risk. So please spare me the shit about it being healthy. I am what I am. I'm not going to change. I'm going to live with the risk of getting a heart attack, cholesterol, whatever, and dying. That's my choice to make. But if you need to hear that it's somehow healthy, which is an outright lie, there's something fundamentally wrong with you, right? But this is the kind of tosh we're told to accept now as mainstream. How's that right? Sorry, there was the second part of your question, which I completely forgot. What was it?
No, this kind of ideology it's coming on the forms now. So people have to sign up and they have to express themselves. So how does this create equality of anyone?
It does not create equality. You're artificially creating all these. We used to have this thing called a work-life balance, where work was work and what you did outside of it was your business. Don't bring your personal shit to work. Okay, nobody gives a shit what you are. Nobody gives a shit if you self-identify as a banana. Nobody gives a shit if you self-identify as a horse's dick. Nobody gives a shit if you identify as a syphilitic elephant's dick. Just do your work for 8 hours a day and get the hell out. Okay, you can't normalize this kind of shit in the workplace. It serves no purpose. You're not creating, you're not adding to the economy. You're doing nothing. This is the kind of self-defeatism that is going to bring America down. And if you want to go down this path, congratulations to you. But my worst thing in all of this is that in a country like India, where women still have not gained equality, where there is still so much for women to even come up to match men, all this nonsense has started coming, and it started eradicating or diminishing the need for equality for women. Because remember, India to some extent is an Anglophone country. We import certain Anglophone ideas. We like to, even though our English is very bad, we like to think of ourselves as Anglophone. And so we get infected with all these Anglophone diseases. And for all this crap to be coming in here at a time where, essentially you're looking at women in a pre-industrial society where sheer physical strength counts in labor and things like that. So there is a gender pay gap and things like that. For you to be bringing all of this into India before women have become equal and essentially eating into women's rights, that's just ridiculous. Let's, for example, just abolish all gender in games, and I can guarantee you that it's only cis het men that are going to win all the medals. So why is it that trans people don't want to compete in the men's category? Why do they only want to compete in the women's category?
No, the women's equality in US is much to be wanted also. It is still not at the level where it should be. But certainly it is better than other places, but still women's equality in US is still not there to that level that should be there. There is a income gap which is significant between women and men. We should not be there in ideal scenario. The another point which we spoke in the first place is that the influence of left on the American military superiority. Do you think it's going to worsen it in future? Because there's a confusion right in the ranks also.
Yes, don't you know, America lost in Afghanistan because they didn't use the correct gender pronouns for the Taliban. That was the real reason that America lost. America lost because it didn't have more LGBTQ soldiers, specifically T and Q. It's an established fact. Why are you laughing? I take great offense at your laugh, Adi. You must acknowledge the crimes of America in the LGBTQ genocide that has made America lose Afghanistan. Swami, what they did to Afghan women and children is nothing compared to what they've done to the LGBTQ plus in America.
You chose such a difficult screen name today. It's difficult for me to pronounce. Shri Swami Maskatananda.
Shashi Mastakananda.
Shashi Mastakananda.
Shashi Moon Mastak Head Ananda.
Ananda. And looks to be full Ananda actually right now. Looks like fully glowing, beaming actually coolness to the whole world. And the left must be really, really happy today with you because you're the epitome of what they want to hear today. Now coming to the back to the point of the left conquest of America. Now, what is left of it?
Well, look, when the left comes to power, you have nothing left. Because socialism has always been, it has the distribution of wealth, it's the distribution of misery. I think these people have never lived in a communist country. I lived in the USSR from 83, 84, 85. I've seen what it was. None of these clowns have. All right. I've been to North Korea about 5-6 years back. I've been to North Korea 30 years or so back. They don't know what it's like. Right? Anywhere you go and point out where it's failed, they'll say, but that isn't true leftism. We're bringing in true leftism. And their only example is Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. What they don't want to talk about is all three of these countries were on the verge of bankruptcy and they were saved not by socialism. Socialism nearly bankrupted them. They were saved by external occurrences. Norway by the discovery of North Sea oil. Sweden not once but twice got saved from fiscal bankruptcy by World War I and World War II, being neutral and supplying steel and weapons to both sides. Denmark got rich because of wartime pork exports. So unless you have these external factors that suddenly make you rich, Finland got rich because of something called the Finnish shipping cluster, which was supplying Western quality goods to a Soviet market. Right? So they want to see very specific extraneous factors as the norm when it comes to the 4 Scandinavian countries. Well, Finland technically is in Scandinavia, but whatever. But where the norm is there, they don't want to see it. For them, it's not true socialism. So look, if you've decided to suspend your brains, there's nothing we can do about it. If you're hell-bent on believing only what you want to believe rather than what you need to see and factor in, there's nothing anybody can do. Ultimately, you can only take the horse up to the water. You can't make the horse drink.
California is a leader of leftist philosophies in the US, where I live.
And that is why California is going down the shithole. Crime is up. You can steal from stores unless it's what, $50 or $950, something like that.
900, yeah.
I mean, how? Like when I lived in America, even my month's shopping didn't come up to about $100, $150, $200 at most if I got something really expensive. If I managed to buy a bottle of champagne and a little jar of caviar, it'd probably come up to about $250. How do you walk in and walk out with $950? I mean, that's just mind-boggling, dude. You look at the kind of shit. This is why they're all moving to Texas and things like that. And the problem is they're taking all their toxic ideology and shifting it to Texas.
Yeah, this is a very focused migration. And it's a focused migration to places where they want to alter the election outcomes. It's very clear.
Yeah.
And the rule of the 900 is, and you'll be very shocked and laughing to hear that, if you can justify that you're doing it for survival, then you're allowed. No court case on you.
Tell me, why do you need $900 to survive? What are you going to eat in $900? That's like your weekly foie gras. It's like your weekly caviar. It's like your weekly bottle of Petrus.
It includes pets. They're considered dependents now.
What the hell? Are you like serious?
Yeah. You can file your pets in your income tax returns now. as dependents. Anyway, so this is what left is doing to USA. So how many years you say that America will maintain their corporate leadership now with this kind of mindset?
12 years at most.
That's what most of the people are also assuming, that 10, 12 years
That's
maximum.
assuming, but remember, 10, 12 is assuming that there is a third player. The other player is not going to be China. Let's be clear about that, because China is going through its own market paroxysms that are ensuring its decline as well. So it's not going to be China, but it's going to be somebody else. I'm waiting to see who that somebody else is. It's definitely not India, right? India is a shithole. Don't put your bets on India. If you're planning on investing in India, don't. Put it in Vietnam or some other place like that where your money is safer. But I don't know who it's going to be. But it's the beginning of the end of America.
Everyone has said it. Everyone has said it. Like, why this common statement comes everywhere? I hear from everywhere. And my friends are wondering, some of them friends who have migrated here like me, and we wondering why we took American passports. I'm not thinking that way, but I'm just saying I'm hearing it a lot. What do you say?
Well, I've never been after an American passport, I can tell you that. So I feel I've always been happy with my passport. Like, I have a house in Italy, and thankfully Italy is not infected by this kind of madness. When I go there, it's like really good food, unlike American food, which is really shit. Like, 99.99% of Americans don't even know how to cook a steak properly. So Italians know how to cook. They know their social theory. They've got a beautiful country. They've got beautiful art. They've got beautiful architecture. I'm very content spending 2 months in summer in Italy in my house and coming back to India. If you live in America, congratulations to you, eating all your biomodified food, your genetically modified crops, your hideous cars, and your hideous public architecture.
One of the things, good thing about California is 35% vegan or vegetarian. And so there's a lot of Indian food. Indian curry is the number one choice, other than the Vietnamese and also the Western veggies, which I personally don't like. It's just like leaves and sauce. That's it, or some kind of it there.
My commiserations to all Californians, because I've seldom found an American restaurant that does good food. I'm truly appalled at what passes off as good food in America. Because every time I come there, my friends take me to all these fancy places. The French Laundry was something I went to. Per se was something I went to. I did not like the food. I find it amazing that Americans go gaga over this, but you're eating it and you're thinking, okay, where's the price point correlation? Where's the correlation between the flavor and the reviews and the write-ups? I don't see that in America. There are very few places that you go to in America where there's actually people with a great knowledge of cooking. I'd say one of the great American traditions is the barbecue, because I think the American barbecue is the most sophisticated barbecue in the world. But that's rare and far between, and it's considered crude and low class and environmentally unfriendly, because only veganism is environmentally friendly right now. And the way Americans cook vegetables is ghastly.
Now, my last question to you is on the left, actually. Americans don't even aware. Most of them are not even aware. They do not know the difference. And I'm talking about most of the Americans living away from Los Angeles and city centers like that. Los Angeles, they actually celebrate. And one of the things they're saying, we have to accept everyone, we have to give money to everyone, to make everyone equal. It is becoming, the Los Angeles is the welfare suicide city. It's like the city pays out more. It's almost like $1,600 with a single parent with one child a month. You have five, you're earning $9,000, $8,000 a month with no work. So why is this like this? Sleeping? Everyone is sleeping. What do you think?
You know that old Sanskrit saying, Yatha Praja Tatha Raja? The
Yatha Raja
king,
Tatha Praja.
yeah, as the king, so the population. That's what you're seeing. You're
Anyway, thank you so much, Abhijit. Always a pleasure. Shri Swami Shri Shashi Maskatananda, and the beautiful Chandramukhi. So thank you all for watching. And Abhijit, any last words
Yes, I'm
on this?
sure I've pissed off a lot of our viewers, but I
Lot.
enjoyed pissing you all off. So thank you and oh,
Namaste.
breathe. Stop taking life so seriously. Breathe. Stop taking yourselves too seriously. Stop getting carried away in activism. You're not as important as you think. You're a footnote in history. Okay? There's nothing you can do that's really going to make any great difference. Step back, examine things critically, and see if this is where you want to go. So, oh,
Very motivating words. I think if somebody needs motivation, they should come to you.
what the
Namaste.
hell? I demotivate. I'm the eternal pessimist.
That's what I said. Sarcasm.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you all, and thank you for listening. And it's a joy to be. Thank you for being here. Namaste.